Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Can I just put it out there, I'm not a professional hairstylist. I've never actually made a wig before. This is my very first wig, so this is going to be very beginner friendly. I feel like if I can do it, anyone can do it too. Okay, and please watch out for the second part as well. Thank you. Right guys, we're going to be needing our T-pins, your mesh cap, your closure, obviously your thread and needle. I got most of this stuff from Amazon. I'll be leaving the links below. So this is just me trying to position my closure where I want it to be. You need to make sure that the closure just falls just a little bit above, or just like it surpasses the line on your mesh cap. That is just for better fitting. So I'm just trying to figure out where I want it to be, how I want my closure to be laid down, and I'm just pinning them with my T-pins. I will say you probably need T-pins because they are the safer option. I think the other pins are so difficult to maneuver around, so that's me just pinning them down, and whilst I'm doing that, I'm holding it super tight. It's like I'm pulling it just to make sure that I have a super flat closure. I feel like once you nail this bit, the sewing process is so much easier. I'm not gonna lie, I struggled a little bit because I wanted the closure to be perfect. Once your closure is ruined, the whole week is basically ruined. Okay, so I was just trying to make sure that it is super flat before I went on to like the sewing process, because I did not want to sew and then realize that it is all messed up and I have to do it again. So I did it quite a few times and just make sure that it was super flat and where I wanted it to be positioned. I think this is looking pretty flat. The zooming process. Canon G7X. Yeah, it is looking pretty good. So we can literally go ahead and start the sewing process. I just went ahead and braided the hair just to get it out of the way whilst I'm sewing the hair. I did not want the hair to get into the needle and all of that, so I wanted to have a clean sew. So you're going to be needing your needle obviously and your thread. I got this from Amazon for those who live in the UK. And also you're going to tie a knot at the end of the thread. You can tie once or twice. I just tied mine once because I did not want it to be bulgy at the beginning of the closure, So I'm just taking it from one side of the closure and then I'm gonna work my way around to the other side. So what you want to do here, this is actually the most crucial part about the sewing. What you want to do is at the beginning there, I don't know guys, sorry about my camera, it doesn't zoom properly. If you've got Canon G7X, you know what I mean, like the struggle is real. So what you want to do is grab the mesh on the cap and then pass it through the closure. So you want to make sure that you're grabbing the mesh on the cap and not the elastic. So some people say the skin on the cap, so you have to be very careful around there. So what I'm doing here is I'm just passing my thread from the mesh of the cap into the closure and then out, and then I'm gonna continue the older process going the other way. So I'll be going now from the closure into the mesh cap. But at the beginning I did that because I did not want the knot, the knot that we tied at the end of the thread, to be on top of the closure. That's why I did it from the mesh cap into the closure. I don't know if this makes sense. I hope it does, guys. So how I try to make it tight is, I'm using one hand to pull the thread and one hand to pull the needle, and also I pass the needle in between the thread just to give it a perfect hold. Just doing the same process all around the closure. I don't take out my tape-ins until I'm completely done with the sewing, you know, just to give it that perfect, just make sure that it is laid properly whilst I'm sewing the hair. I'm just trying to show you guys how I make it tight. So what I do is I pass the needle in between the threads, as you can see, and I pull it just to give it a perfect hold and to make sure that it doesn't get loose at any point in time. So as you can see, I'm passing my needle from the closure into the mesh cap and I pull it out. Yeah, almost at the end, guys. It's starting to look pretty decent, I think. Like, it is super flat. I love that. I was so proud of myself, guys. Now we are at the end as well. Here you want to make sure, like the other side, you have to make sure that your needle goes through your closure into the mesh on the cap, not the elastic. Please make sure that your needle or your thread doesn't go through the elastic on the cap. It needs to grab the mesh on the cap, on the mesh cap. So that's me all done, guys. I'm just going to cut my thread and I'm gonna tie the remaining thread 3 times just to make sure that it is super tight and it doesn't get loose. And voila, guys, I think it's looking pretty decent. Please leave me your comments below to let me know what you think about this. I was so proud of myself. I used to pay like £300 to have people make a wig for me. But please, guys, watch out for the second part where I'll be showing you how I did the complete wig. So I'll see you soon.